Good, happy Thursday evening. It is Thursday, August 11, 2022. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, we begin with breaking news. Harmony Montgomery believed to have been killed, New Hampshire AG says. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
Solutions for New Hampshire. Maggie Hassan helped convince the administration to release oil from reserves to bring down gas prices, fighting to end loopholes that give big oil an unfair tax break, working in the Senate to suspend the gas tax until 2023 and lower prices.
Here today to provide an update regarding the ongoing investigation into the 2019 disappearance of Harmony Montgomery. Back in January, we announced that then 5-year-old Harmony likely disappeared sometime between November 28th and December 10th of 2019. Since that announcement, members of my office, members of the Manchester Police Department, the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI, and other law enforcement partners have been diligently continuing to work this case. In total, these agencies working together have devoted thousands of hours gathering evidence and pursuing numerous leads. All of these efforts have led us to conclude that Harmony Montgomery was murdered in Manchester in early December of 2019. At this point, while Harmony's remains have not yet been located, we do have multiple sources of investigative information, including just recently confirmed biological evidence that have led us to this difficult and tragic conclusion. As a result, today I am announcing that this is now officially a homicide investigation, and that our investigators will continue to seek justice and look into the circumstances of Harmony's murder and search for her remains. We understand that this is truly devastating news for Harmony's family, friends, and loved ones, and our hearts go out to them. This is also devastating news for the city of Manchester, for our state, and all who have followed this story. Our work now turns to getting justice for Harmony and all those who loved her. In a moment, I'm going to turn it over to Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenburg, but before I do, I just want to acknowledge the tireless work that the Manchester Police Department has put into this difficult and truly heartbreaking case. We have much work left to do, but I think everyone would join me in thanking the chief and his team for their efforts thus far. I also want to acknowledge the work of Senior Assistant Attorney General Jesse O'Neill from my office, who is here today. He's worked closely with Chief Aldenburg, the Manchester Police Department, and all of our law enforcement partners in this investigation. And there is much work left to come.
Okay, and there you go on that video from that press conference that took place today. Again, Harmony Montgomery believed to have been killed, New Hampshire AG says. And we are following more breaking news. Juvenile arrested, charged in shooting death of Northfield woman and young children. A juvenile has been arrested and charged with murder in the death of a Northfield woman and her 2 sons. The juvenile has been charged in the juvenile system with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of falsifying physical evidence in connection with the August 3rd shooting. Deaths of Cassandra Sweeney, 25, and her sons Benjamin Sweeney, 4, and Mason Sweeney, 1, in Northfield. The suspect's identity has not been released because the suspect is a juvenile. Investigators said the bodies of Cassandra, Benjamin, and Mason Sweeney were found in their home at 56 Weathersfield Drive on August 3rd by police responding to a 911 call. Autopsies determined that each died of a single gunshot wound. There are no word of a possible motive. Officials said that because the suspect is a juvenile, the law prevents them from releasing any other details. Man found not guilty in New Hampshire motorcycle crash. Trial now in ICE custody in Pennsylvania. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
We need solutions for New Hampshire. Maggie Hassan helped convince the administration to release oil from reserves to bring down gas.
Breaking news just into our newsroom. News 9 Investigates has confirmed Vladimir Zhukovsky is being held in federal custody in Pennsylvania. Zhukovsky, a Ukrainian national, is currently at the Moshannon Valley Ice Processing Center in Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania. Immigration and Customs picked up Zhukovsky from the Grafton County House of Corrections Tuesday after he was found not guilty on all charges in the deadly Randolph crash trial.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Proposed changes to claims process tabled in Youth Development Center settlement case. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
The Attorney General's office says it will make changes to the claims process for people alleging abuse at New Hampshire's Youth Development Center. The state created a $100 million settlement fund, but critics, who include many of the alleged victims, say it is not enough money, adding that the claims process is too much of a burden. The Joint Legislative Fiscal Committee voted yesterday to table the proposed process while more work is done.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Gas prices dip below $4 per gallon nationally. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Surprises are great for parties, but for your work's digital security, not so much. With Dropbox's enhanced controls, keeping your team's work safe takes just a few keystrokes. Like external sharing reports, so you know exactly who has access to what. And
we have an 11-year-old, and he's like, wow, that's really inexpensive gas. And it really isn't.
For weeks, gas prices have been falling across the nation. But for Chip Cloutier, it's not making much of a difference.
It seems to be a topic of discussion at home when you say, well, geez, the price is down, gas is going down. It's down to almost $4 a gallon. And then you remember just a couple of years ago, it was around $2 a gallon.
To be honest, can't really tell the difference just because it's just cents that went down, honestly.
Still, for the first time since March, prices nationally have dipped below $4 a gallon. However, in New Hampshire, drivers are paying more. AAA says while oil prices have dropped, a big reason for the drop in price, a decrease in demand.
Recently, AAA sent out a survey, and almost 2/3 of respondents said they have
reduce the amount of driving they're doing. About 68% of all respondents say they are driving a lot less than they were.
AAA says they expect prices will continue to fall. Marcus Noguera says that helps, but prices need to go down a lot more.
I have 5 kids. I travel back and forth a lot to Springfield, Mass. The inflation's really got things messed up around the country, so I believe things are a little hectic with gas prices.
AAA says that one thing that could reverse this downward trend is the fact we're entering hurricane season. Those storms often impact the south, where many of the refineries are located. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Man linked to Islamic State Beatles hostage takers arrested in New England. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
When you're launching a home improvement project, quality lumber from our drive-through lumber yards makes all the difference. At Beltate's Building Supply, you'll find a wide selection of the lumber and building materials you need for any project.
Visit us at beltates.com or any of our 9 locations.
The BBC is reporting the 4th man accused of taking part in the killing of James Foley and other ISIS captives has been arrested on terrorism charges in England. The 4 men were known as the Beatles by captives who say the group with British accents often stuck together. Anya Davis was in jail in Turkey for 7 years. The BBC reports he was recently released and was arrested after flying into Luton Airport near London. Mohammed Emwazi, the man suspected of actually killing Foley, was killed in a drone strike. Alexander Koti and El Shafi al-Sheikh were brought to the U.S. to face federal charges related to the killing of Foley and 3 other Americans. Koti was sentenced to life in prison. El-Sheikh will be sentenced this month.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. DOJ charges Iran national with planning to kill John Bolton. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
That alleged assassination plot, the Justice Department charging a suspected Iranian operative for allegedly plotting to kill former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton. Foreign correspondent James Longman has the latest on this. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, Cecilia. This really is like something out of a spy thriller. U.S. prosecutors have now charged an Iranian man they say attempted to hire a hitman to kill John Bolton. He was the national security advisor to Donald Trump. The Justice Department says Shahram Pousafi is a member of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard, and that he offered $300,000 in November 2021 to eliminate Bolton. Now, all this an attempt apparently to avenge the death of Qasem Soleimani. He was killed by the U.S. in a drone strike in Iraq in January 2020. According to an FBI affidavit, Pousafi is alleged to have approached a U.S. resident on social media, asking them to take photos of Bolton for a book he was said to be writing. He spoke to another U.S. resident via an encrypted messaging app, and that person then became an FBI informant. The FBI hacked their communications and found that Pousafi had suggested an assassination by car, as Bolton often took walks in the park. Now, Iran has rejected these allegations, calling them ridiculous and baseless, but John Bolton has thanked both the FBI and the Justice Department for uncovering this plot. TJ?
All right, James, thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.